rest here in my garden.
You will have a part.
Take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted ones. Take me to the lonely ones that somehow lost their way. Let them hear him say, I am your friend. Come to my table. Rest here in my garden.
You will have a part. You will have a part.
They will be surprised when they hear him say, take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted ones. Take me to the lonely ones that somehow lost their way. So let them hear me say, I am your friend. So come to my table. Rest here in my garden.
You will have a part. You will have a part. Yes, you will. You will have a part.
Take me to the lonely ones that somehow lost their way. And let them hear me say, I am your friend. Come to
just want to linger in that energy of what they were sharing with us, right? And as we talk about new beginnings, so many times when something new arises in our lives, when a new chapter begins, we're all in it. What it would feel like to just linger in the energy of newness. To really experience it at a deep level and allow it to have its way with us, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. And I'm in the spirit of it. So, but before we continue, just want to take a moment to acknowledge those that are here at Unity on the Bay for the first or second time. If you'd raise your hand, we'd love to welcome you to our spiritual community. Thank you so much for being with us. Awesome to have you. If there's one thing that we want you to get from being with us this morning, is that we consider you a blessing. A blessing to the community and a blessing to each and every person that is here today to witness you being an expression of good. Because we know that that is the truth of who you are. So we give thanks that you have blessed us with your presence, and we give thanks that you are allowing us also then to be a blessing unto you. After the service, we'd love for you, if you're here for the first or second time, to go back there in the foyer. There's a welcome table, an ambassador will greet you, give you a gift for being with us, and answer any questions that you may have about Unity on the Bay. So, and this is a very wonderful service for you to be a part of, because this is truly almost a christening of our time here at Temple Israel. And I hope you understand that when I say christening to us being at Temple Israel, it's because I'm going to christen it right now with what you've been waiting for, one of my jokes. It's been a couple of weeks. I know you've been anxiously waiting to see which one it is, and I'm a little concerned. I don't know if the word is concerned. I'm a little nervous about the joke that I'm about to present because I'm going to get political. Okay? But it is a Donald Trump joke, so bear with me. But I hope you enjoy it. So Donald Trump was walking out of the White House, and he's on his phone, and he's busy, and he doesn't realize that he's about to walk into a tree that has a very low branch. And so all of a sudden, the Secret Service agent says, "Mickey Mouse!" And all of a sudden, that startles Donald Trump, and so he looks up. He realizes there's a tree, so he goes the other way. So a couple of days later, somebody asks, "How did you have the know-it-all to scream out Mickey Mouse?" And he said, "I didn't. I was just so nervous. I was really trying to say, Donald, duck." You welcome, Temple Israel. All right. See, some things change, some things don't. But it is really great to sort of be in the newness and the freshness and linger in this energy of this new chapter for Unity on the Bay. And I've been really sitting with what does it all mean, right? And of course, we're also being supported by Finding Yourself in Transition, the program that we are going through as spirit groups. Which really sort of creates the space for us to get deep within what is this transition that Unity on the Bay has been going through mean for each and every one of us. And what is the transitions that are going on in your life outside of Unity on the Bay meaning for you? Because there are many, many transitions that we are all living with, right? I mentioned earlier that I wish the only transition going on in my life was the move of Unity on the Bay, but there's about 300 more, right? How many are you with me? We have so many things changing and shifting in our lives, and some that are very big and in our face, and some that we may not be even fully aware of. But the beauty of having this big one show up for us is that we get to sort of step back and recognize that there is something in it for us. I mentioned that all of you that are here this morning are an active participant in the transition of Unity on the Bay. No one that is connected to Unity on the Bay was a passive member of this transition. You all had a role, you all played a part in the transition, in the move, in the energy that was created that really allowed us to move to Temple Israel and be on this journey that we're on. And so if you're an active participant, it's because I believe there's something that not only are you here to give towards it, but something that you're here to receive from it. And the question is, what is that? And I ask myself that also. What is me to receive? What is it for me to receive from this shift that has been going on? From this change? Because finding yourself in transition really hones in on the fact that all transitions, all changes that are happening in our lives and around us are really a wonderful spiritual tool. So what is this tool then telling me? What is it that I'm gleaning from this experience? And we talk about, this energy that we're feeling, right? How many of you feel this new energy here at Unity on the Bay? Yeah. Actually, take a moment to just feel it. Move your fingers just to shake up some of that energy. But the thing that we kept hearing last Sunday, Reverend Chris and I and so many of us, was it just felt fresh to be here. Right? It just felt fresh. It felt renewed, which is wonderful. How many of you would like to feel refreshed and renewed in every arena of your life? Want to feel a little bit more renewed in relationships? Want work that you love to feel refreshed? Want your day, even your walk down the sidewalk, to feel to walk it with a sense of renewal, that it is part of your spiritual oomph showing up. So how do we harness then this energy of this newness, of this new beginning for our spiritual community? How can we sort of recognize what it truly is, get to know it, allow it to lift us up, and then allow it to move into other areas of our life? How can we do that? Well, one of the things that I've been really sitting with is, in this new energy, there's something for me. Before I even get to what's underneath, because all these external changes, all these transitions, really have a place where do they begin? Inside of us. It's an outpicturing of something that is going on within, right? It's an outpicturing of a different consciousness that is being birthed through me and as me. But before I even get to see what's inside of that, I have to become aware of these new beginnings in my life, right? I mean, we've been telling you, this is a new chapter. This is a new beginning to Unity on the Bay. But there are so many new beginnings that are happening moment by moment in our lives that we may not even be fully aware of. And yet, all those new beginnings and new chapters are there to support us spiritually, to remind us of who and what we truly are. And so first is to become aware of these new beginnings so that we can harness its energy. One of the things that I love about, I've been watching Marie Kondo. How many of you have been watching Marie Kondo? She's the woman on Netflix that goes into homes and organizes, right? And one of the things that she says is, you just hold on to the things that spark joy in you, right? And the thing that I love that she does in every episode, is that she tells people, well, just bring something that you're thinking about releasing or keeping to your heart and ask, does this spark joy in me? And I love that she says, you may not feel it at first. You may not know what it feels like, but keep asking the question. And little by little, you'll recognize that sensation. The same thing with new beginnings. You may not realize what a new beginning, what's sparking within you in each new beginning. And if you can invite yourself to ask, is this something new taking place? Is there something that is being refreshed in me? And what does it feel like? So when I ask you to take a breath and just feel the freshness and the newness of being here at Unity on the Bay, it's so that you can use it, you can harness it, but it's also so that we each can then go into our individual lives and know what it feels like, so that when it's happening in other aspects of our lives, when something new is being birthed, we're aware that something new is being birthed. Because something new is happening every single moment, right? And you can experience this and you can practice this moment by moment, because yes, we moved to a new facility. Some of you have been moving homes, I know. Some of you have been in changes in employment and in relationship. And what else is new? This moment, right? What else is new? This breath. And recognize the difference when you become aware of the newness of those moments. Right? Like you can take a breath, right? We take breaths without even recognizing it. But the moment that we actually take a moment to really feel what a breath feels like, to be aware of the renewed sense of being that we can have in that moment of a breath, all of a sudden that one small breath becomes a spiritual journey, becomes a spiritual gift. So then you become aware of these things that are shifting. You become aware of the ways in which you are shifting. And so then all of a sudden, this new beginning that is also further blessed or deepened within us once we make a commitment to it. Because the reality is that all these different things that are happening, all these different beginnings that are taking place, once we get to the promised land, as we called it last Sunday, there's still challenges, right? They're still going on. You start a new job, wonderful, fresh, new, and you will be challenged, right? We will be challenged. We still don't have PowerPoint, right? And yet, the fact that we can commit to this new beginning and look then further into what were the energies that created this new beginning, what are the consciousness that created this new beginning, all of a sudden, when we say, yes, we are committed to this change, we are committed to also seeing what is the thing underlying, what were the ways in which we ourselves created this new experience, we can fall back on it. Because for me, for example, as we've been going through all these changes and transitions, one of the things that I've been telling people is I've never felt so grounded. And it seems weird to feel that way in the midst of all this change, and yet that's how I've been experiencing myself, grounded. And so then all of a sudden I'm committed to really looking deeper. Why do I feel grounded? And it's because through this change I've been able to really hone in and tune into a deep strength within me, a resilience that I have not felt in other aspects of my life or in different areas of my life. Also trust and faith. If you know me well, you know that I'm a little bit of a control freak. Anybody know that I'm a little bit of a control freak? Anybody with me? Put your hand, my husband just raised his hand. We'll talk about that later. But how many of you are control freaks like me? Few of you? I'm so glad some of you are being honest. But you know, all of a sudden, like through this change, I've been able to really step back and trust the process and have faith in the process. And so now when these new challenges arise, when these new opportunities, these new shifts and the wandering and the void take place, I'm able to fall back and say, wait a minute, I've just experienced myself with a deeper sense of strength, with a deeper sense of resilience and faith and trust. And so what? I'm able to then move through this challenge also. And the beauty of finding that within the new beginnings, you know, it really brings energy to us. One of the things that I realized is that a few weeks ago, I actually wasn't looking at being a Temple Israel as a new beginning. I was calling it being in the wandering, being in the void, right? Because in my mind, the new beginning was what? The new facility that's being created a year and a half from now, whenever that is. And all of a sudden, when I had the shift, when all of a sudden I was really thinking and feeling into the experience and feeling the freshness of what was happening, it was like, no, this is the beginning. This is the new chapter. And in that process, I'm also then able to re-energize myself. Because it could very well be very difficult to see out a year and a half and just keep chugging along the wilderness, right? The void. But the fact that I'm able to actually break it down and say, no, this is the new beginning, and I was able to make it here, then gives me more strength and allows me to remember that there's this great impulse that is moving through me and as me in the evolution of my life and in the evolution of this community. And so then all of a sudden, I'm aware of the new beginning. I'm aware of the freshness and that energy, that creative energy that is a part of everything that is new. And then I can go and commit to really looking at what made it so. And in that way, then, the next part of that process for me is to really be aware of how I am embodying it. Because now I know that there's a deep level of strength. I know that there is a deep level of resilience. How am I embodying not only the big changes that are happening in my life, but how am I embodying it moment by moment? How am I embodying it here in front of you this morning? How am I embodying faith and trust just walking down the street? How am I truly embodying? And that is the gift of all these changes, of all these transitions that are happening. Because for me, we shared last week that our divine purpose, which I wholeheartedly agree, is a deep sense of love. Well, that deep sense of love, loving as our divine purpose, is because even further, deeper than that, our divine purpose is to know who we are, to know what we are. And we are love. We are strength. We are faith and trust and beauty. And we are all those things that we believe sometimes God to be, but not us. We all of a sudden start experiencing ourselves as such, and all of a sudden any change, any shift, any challenge, we can boldly walk through it and into it, truly knowing who we are. One of the things about committing to this process is that it starts to move things for us, and it starts to create this energy, this harnessing that we want to see. It just starts to happen naturally. W.H. Murray, who is somebody that climbed Mount Everest, was quoted about commitment saying, "The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would come his way." Are you committed to these new beginnings and these new chapters? Are you committed? I talked about the new beginning of a breath. Are you committed in the awareness of the power of the breath? Are you committed in this moment? Are you thinking about laundry? Are you thinking about what's after the service or what's before the service? Or are you committed to being fully present to the journey that we are taking and the gifts of the journey that we are taking? The moment that we commit, the moment that we know ourselves to be aware of what is happening within us, is the moment that we can transcend all that is for us to transcend. One of the things that I love from Finding Yourself in Transition, it uses the rite of passage of a tribe, right? And so we know some of the stories in certain tribes where, like the boys, for example, are sent out into the wilderness, into the wandering, right, as a rite of passage. And what they do is they learn from that experience. They really learn from what is happening in that journey. And then they come back to the village as men, right? Which really is about just transformation. They come back transformed. But they come back to the village. They come back to their life, right? We may be going through a lot of changes. We may be going through a lot of transitions in our life. And at the end of the day, we're right where we started. Our life, our experience. And so the book actually quotes one of my favorite T.S. Eliot poems. And it says, "At the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." Are you ready to know your life for what it is at such a deep sense that you experienced your life for the first time? That you experience abundance and prosperity and wholeness and healing and community and peace and strength and joy for the first time, like you've never experienced it before? Well, then use this. You're an active participant of this change, of this move, so use it for your benefit. Ask yourself, like I've been asking myself, what does it mean for me to have been a part of Unity on the Bay during this time? What do I learn about myself because I am seated here in this moment, in this community, at this time. And I will tell you that what it means for me, and I believe it means for you, is that you are a child of God, and you are able to move and transcend through anything that happens to you or through you, and that you, within you, is an understanding that you are exactly where you need to be, expressing all that you need to express, living life refreshed, renewed, and with a deep sense of commitment. Thank you, and amen.
Yeah, that was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's give them another hand. Oh, the power of new beginnings and the gift that is a new beginning. It's a blessing, right? It's a blessing to have an opportunity, and we have another opportunity right now, a prosperity opportunity. We are so very blessed to be spiritually fed by the music and the message this morning. So if you want to be in the flow of not only receiving, but also giving, now is your opportunity to give back to this community. We have giving envelopes in front of you, or if you want to go green, you can text UOTB to 73256, and that's even on the back of the envelope too. So if you need that information, you can just get it from there. Giving is a sacred demonstration of your prosperity. So I'll give you a few moments in the silence to prepare your gift. We thank you so much for your gift. Let's bless these gifts together. Divine love that I am blesses all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive.